Welcome to the LANCave, where we're living as nerds. I'm Patrick. I'm actually solo this week, so feel free to chat with me in the comments talking about gaming news, nerd stuff. I'm going to stick to gaming today. I could be talking about WandaVision. I could be talking about the Snyder Cut that's coming out, the new trailer for that. But let's stick to gaming here, unless you guys change my train of thought in the chat. It's been a week. It's been a crazy week. I hope everybody's staying safe. It's very freezing cold in Texas. I'm not in Texas. Shout out to my friends in Texas. Trying to stay warm, keeping power. It's actually why a lot of people are not able to get to work, out of power. Again, not gonna go into that today because I want to keep it light, at least mostly light. I say mostly light because I play a lot of games like Demon's Souls and Resident Evil and that kind of thing, which it's not necessarily lighthearted, but I at least try to be lighthearted with it, because it can get gruesome. So I'll toggle every now and then over to the chat just to make sure. I'm trying to get the chat to pop up live for me, but technical difficulties. So we're just going to skip right past that. Speaking of technical difficulties, PlayStation is getting sued. Sony getting sued. This is a class action lawsuit, and everyone's making a big deal about it. And let me preface it with, that is a big deal. If you sell something, you want it to be quality. You don't want to have systematic issues, which is what Sony's having here, with drift issues with the thumbsticks on the DualSense. That being said, I've not had any issues, and I play my PlayStation 5 a lot. I play a good amount of. Let's see. So what was it? Sackboy. What's wrong? It's one of those days. Sorry. The Astro's Playroom, beat that. Miles Morales, beat that. PlayStation 4 Spider-Man Remaster, I've almost beaten that. Demon's Souls, playing like 5 characters. I'm playing Resident Evil on that as well. I'm playing some older games, Ghost of Tsushima. Not had any drifting issues. Now at the same time, that may be me. That may be how hard I press or don't press on certain sticks. I will say I had terrible drift issues, very specific terrible drift issues with the PlayStation 4 controllers. I've got 4 of them for that reason, but that was because of tapping the L3 to do crouch and different things like that. So aiming when it got to the minutia of like getting down iron sights or being in a scope for like Metal Gear Solid, as soon as you do that, no, sorry, it was right stick. The right stick was pushing forward, so as soon as I would like get into a scope in Metal Gear, I would crawl while I was in the scope, but I wouldn't have that problem when I was just walking around. So I haven't had the problem with PlayStation yet, but there's a class action lawsuit against Sony for this. They're not the only one who's had this problem, like I said. Nintendo, famously, with the Joy-Con drift. Xbox, no one talks about this. Xbox had some drifting issues that no one's talked about, and they got a class action lawsuit for the exact same thing, but yeah, it's not happening as much on the Series X. By the way, Series X is a solid controller. It is an it's an upgraded iteration of the Xbox Series X controller, or Xbox One X controller. Names are so confusing. But yeah, it's good. The DualSense is just more groundbreaking. DualSense is a next-gen controller, where the Xbox Series X controller is like, it's an upgrade. It's a good upgrade, though. On more PlayStation news, though, and this is where it seems like it's a bad PlayStation news week. You take it when you take the good and the bad, and you just go on with it. Next bit of news was actually dealing with the PlayStation 5's architecture, as there's been some. So there are some APU breakdowns and some die. I forgot the term for it. What's wrong with me? Essentially, they did a it's a die shot. Sorry. So a die shot of the PS5's APU. That's a custom chip, and everyone is freaking out because apparently some of the Zen 2 architecture is not quite there. I'm not as much of a hardware person as some experts are, and some of the experts that I've seen where they actually talked about it. I'm not trying to talk about hyperbole, but just saying, okay, what is this? What is missing? Is it a big deal? And I don't know enough about these pictures to tell you what's missing. I wish I could highlight something, and Digital Foundry probably can do a great job on that. Everything that I've seen from engineers who are familiar with this have all said, well, it's a custom chip that's not made for a desktop. It's a custom chip that's made for a console to fit a specific purpose. They may have not needed that additional architecture. So not having, other people were saying, well, that means there's no infinite cache on the PlayStation 5. That it's limited, where Mark Cerny said this is an unlimited cache. With the speed of the CPU and the hard drive involved, I don't think it's going to hold it back. In fact, the PlayStation 5 is performing better than the Xbox Series X in the head-to-head performances of actual raw the same game, because that's the best way you can test these things. Testing the exact same game, PlayStation 5 is testing better than the Xbox. So the PlayStation 5 is stunted in some way. Doesn't have the full RDNA architecture that people say that it's not true RDNA. What is it, 2.0, 3.0? Again, I don't pretend to be an expert on this. But if it is stunted, if it is being held back in some way, then imagine the Xbox. The Xbox is even further stunted, where the Xbox is not able to perform as well as the PlayStation 5. And if that's the case, like I said, if that's the case, then if anything, that should be like focusing on Xbox at this point and be like, seriously? If these guys are doing it with a half thing that's not quite the current architecture, not what it claims to be, why is the Xbox not even able to perform with what it has in hardware? The Xbox Series X is the more powerful of the two. It's all about optimization. It's all about optimization. You're optimizing for this specific hardware, and when we get more optimization going forward, we're going to actually see this stuff, shine. We're going to see it, make more sense. And I can't wait for that. I cannot wait for that. I love both of my consoles, by the way. I love my PlayStation 5. I love my Xbox Series X for different reasons. The Xbox is great, but the Xbox is an upgraded Xbox One X. It's the next iteration, and it's good, but that's what it is. I just get irritated when people pretend that it's something that it isn't, and that's what it is, and that's okay. It's a great console. PlayStation 5 is just more next gen right now. We'll see what Xbox does later on, though. In other news, non-PlayStation news, but also PlayStation news, Final Fantasy VII Remake. We got a little bit more details about Final Fantasy VII Remake in just basically one snippet, one little sentence that everyone's talking about, because we were latching onto this. Last week, actually, we were talking about, we could get some news about the Final Fantasy VII Remake. We could get news about possible spin-offs, because they trademarked multiple names. Crisis Infinite. I think I'm going to get it wrong. I'm exhausted, but we didn't get what we thought we were going to get. What we thought we were going to get was a lot of news, maybe not a trailer, but like something about it. And what we got was essentially an interview. And essentially what we're hearing is that the co-director stated that they were heavily influenced by a certain game that is Horizon Zero Dawn, and that's not a bad comparison. That's not a bad thing to compare to. Showing Forbidden West should be. Oh no, I'm not. Wrong button. Didn't want to spoil anything. Can't believe I'm spoiling things. Showing some Forbidden West here because I wanted to. Zero Dawn was great. It's a great game to mimic in one way or another. I'm hoping that means that the exploration is what we're going to see, because for those of you who haven't played Final Fantasy VII, the original Final Fantasy VII. The stopping point, and I'm not going to spoil anything here, but the stopping point in Final Fantasy VII Remake that came out last year, the end of that, if you look at where that is in the original game, that is the end of the first disc, I believe, but it's where the game opens up. You are playing a relatively kind of linear storyline within the city, and then the game opens up and you're able to roam. The game still wants you to go to certain areas first. They want you to do certain things first. You have to, because you don't have access to go across the water. You can't fly until you get submarine, the high wind, breed chocobos, all of that. But that's where the game takes off your leash and lets you free roam. So taking notes from Horizon, which is a great job at that, and giving and allowing the free roam section of Final Fantasy to shine in that fashion, I think is really cool. It's a really great idea. It's not something I would have thought of in regards to a parallel, but it makes sense. They were very inspired by it, and it's a great game. So a great game inspired by another great game. Well, we don't know if Final Fantasy the remake is a great game yet, but I absolutely loved. Sorry, the remake sequel. We don't know. The remake was a great game. So, Final Fantasy Remake, Horizon, put them together. I mean, I think it's a winner. I think it's a winner. Let me know what you think about that combination, because I think it's cool. In other news, we did have a Nintendo Direct today, and there was a lot. There was a ton of information here. I took a while trying to figure out like what I wanted to talk about here, and there's quite a bit that I could talk about. There are things like what I'm showing here, which is you'd even have to look here because I forgot. It's a new Smash Xenoblade character coming to Smash. See, I didn't even write it down. Those are two properties that I'm not as familiar with. I'm not as familiar with Xenoblade. I have played Smash, but I'm not a big Smash player, so I didn't want to pretend. I'm not going to do that, but I'll talk about things that I am excited about. And this is important. This is big news. I'm just not a Smash person. I really hope. And there was also the little switch of like she's going to be in Smash, not him. I thought that was cool, or maybe in addition to him. Like I said, I'm not a Smash guy, but I think it's cool adding these characters to, again, bring more fans of their series into Smash. And that's what it's all about, in my opinion, right? That's what Smash is all about. So things that I was excited about that they announced. First up, Legend of Mana. I say Mana. Some people say Mana. I almost said Mana there because so many people say that. Legend of Mana HD. I'm all about that. So many things coming to Switch, and allowing people to play these games that they weren't able to play before. Maybe they didn't have these systems. Maybe it's a classic game that they just never got around to playing. So it's really cool that this is on there. I could be playing it on my my SNES Classic. This is the HD remaster, so it'll look better, but I still like the 16-bit look. It looks great. It's but yeah, in the retro aspect, looks really good. Completely different pivot there. The DC superhero girls teen power. I can't be the only grown man who was excited about this. Sorry, it's waiting for it to pop up, but I thought this was really cool. It's adorable. I love the DC characters, so bringing these in here, especially for young girls, because girls are a big part of the gaming. And I say girls because it's like the younger populace play more games. The younger female population play more games than the women around my age or a little bit younger. People who are a little bit older than me, not as many women play. It's become more acceptable, is what I'm really kind of getting at. It's become more acceptable for women to play video games, which I could go on a rant about. I'm not going to rant on about that. I can blame Nintendo for it. Long story short, we can blame Nintendo for this because after the video game crash, Nintendo was basically what brought back games, and they didn't want to market their console as a video game electronics piece. They wanted to market it as if it was more toys. They'd rob the robot. So in doing so, they needed to market it and put it in either the boy toys or the girl toys, because that's how toys were then, and that's how they mostly are right now. Mostly, so it's getting better. But then it was like you have the boys and the girls toy aisles, and they were like, boys play more video games, so we'll market to boys. So they not only put it in the store for boys in regards to the toy aspect of it, they marketed heavily to boys. So my generation, who I had a Nintendo, so Nintendo came out in, was 86? I might get that wrong. I'll double check that while I rant though. So when the Nintendo came out, 83, sorry, what's wrong with me? I thought I said 86, 83. So the Nintendo came out a year before I was born. So when I was born into it, this is my world, obviously. I was born into Nintendo marketing to me. Nintendo and Sega marketing towards me in the console wars and everything. So my generation grew up where boys were marketed towards for video games, and there was still that sexism. So I blame Nintendo because Nintendo was the one who made that choice, and then Sega continued to market towards boys. There's no reason. Could have been girls, could have been boys, doesn't matter. And that's why I like games like this. Like, allow for women to play games. In this case, this game is made for a younger audience, but at the same time, this looks cute. It looks fun. They talked about the school aspect of this as well. So I hope there's a narrative. There's a good narrative in here. I don't know. Like, I know it's not necessarily my thing, but it looks adorable. I may pick it up. Completely different, and I'm probably going to pick this one up, is Monster Hunter Rise. And I will say, watching trailer after trailer of this, I look at it and I say, it looks good. It doesn't look as good as Monster Hunter World. I feel like it looks just a little bit less in fidelity than Monster Hunter World, but this is being played on the Switch. So it's being played on a handheld that technically is not quite as powerful as, say, the PlayStation 4 Pro, which is where I played Monster Hunter World. So if I'm playing it on a gaming console that is a generation behind, or a 0.5, because I'd say it's like half a generation behind. The Nintendo Switch, in regards to hardware, in regards to speed, in regards to fidelity, it's definitely not up to par with the PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X. It wasn't on par with the half iterations of the PlayStation 4 Pro or the Xbox One X. I feel like it was, yeah, I'd say it looks like the Xbox One, original Xbox One stuff. And that doesn't mean it's bad, especially with the smaller screen. It's not bad. The gameplay looks great though, and it looks fun, so I'm fine with that. I'm gonna dance around these other things because one thing got me really excited, and I'm going to talk about that afterwards. Project Triangle Strategy. I love this. Is the working title. It looks great in regards to the density of this RPG. I don't know a lot about it. This was just announced today. So I didn't do like a full-on deep dive. At least I believe it was announced today. I'm not familiar with it at all, but the depth of it reminds me of some other RPG games that I wish I'd gotten into. So I'm like, if I see more of it, I feel like from an RPG standpoint, like this may be something that I want to dive into. Then again, it's probably ridiculously long. So maybe not. I don't know. Again, jumping around here because I'm saving the best for last. Or some of the best. World's End Club was announced, and again, this is something I don't know a lot about because it's a brand new thing. But the narrative in this game got me. The mystery, the intrigue, the narrative, the different characters. I think it looks great. And it was something very different. I think this is the same team that did what's it called, Danganronpa or whatever it's called. I'm gonna get it wrong. Let's look it up real quick. World's End Club developer. Yeah, I believe it is. Publisher, no. Developer. Huh, Death Come True. I don't know that one. So they did that, and they also did Grounding Inc. Huh, not the game, not the company that I thought it was. It really made me feel like it was a what's it called? Is it called Danganronpa? Yeah, Danganronpa. It seemed like that to me. I'm probably completely wrong, but I thought it was that developer. Either way, I'm buying this because it just looks, it hooked me. Very interesting, and I wanna know more about the mystery. Next one, a remaster / package / trilogy thing going on. Ninja Gaiden Sigma Trilogy. So the Ninja Gaiden games that came out on the PlayStation 3 and Xbox. Yeah, PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, if I'm not mistaken. Trying to remember, is it Xbox One, PlayStation 3? Yeah, PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. Sorry, I was trying to remember where these came out. I believe some of them may have come out on the Xbox One. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I played the first of these. I did not play the other ones, and I really enjoyed it. But again, packaging this up as a trilogy, being able to play it on the Switch is great. This is one of the reasons the Switch shines, because while it is a portable, it's powerful enough to at least play these older games, and that makes me excited. Makes me very excited. Also, things that make me excited is anytime I can talk about Star Wars, and just waiting for my system to actually decide to react. I guess you're going to spoil something there, so we're talking about Zelda in a bit, though. But Star Wars Hunters was announced. Okay, I know it's a free-to-play. I'm pretty sure it's a BR. I just saw Star Wars, and I'm like, I'll play this. Star Wars Hunters on Switch, Lucasfilm and Zynga. Okay, so yeah, it's coming to Nintendo Switch and mobile devices. I mean, I'll try it. I mean, cooperative arena combat game. Okay, I'll try it. I mean, it's Star Wars, so it's hopefully going to be good. If there are microtransactions, I'm out. If there's too many microtransactions, or if they put me behind a paywall. But, more Star Wars. Definitely not the Star Wars that I want, but it could be fun. I mean, I like the mix there of the different, your different characters or different classes you can play. So you got, your Jedi, you got a nice, like, heavy trooper, or like a scout trooper maybe, something heavy with whatever that Wookiee is. So it's a cool mix, so I'm happy about that. We're gonna save Zelda for the end, because I know that it like flashed on the screen, and I kind of gave it away that there's some Zelda going on. I didn't squeal, but my inner child squealed here. Not my outer child, but my inner child squealed. Mario Golf Super Rush. I absolutely loved Mario Golf on Nintendo 64. I think it may be one of my favorite games on the Nintendo 64. In a game that was so well designed, and you could play with friends, just trade off, with your controller. But the game was so well designed that a good golf game, it may be simple, but it works so well, and I've had a lot of fun with friends playing this. So playing the N64 Mario Golf. So this is not a remaster of the N64 Golf, which, by the way, you can get on the Wii U if If the Wii U shop is still open, I hope it is. You can grab that. If you don't have it, you can grab that. But here, at least, we have a brand new Mario Golf game. And having different golf modes other than just playing through the courses, having speed golf. I've seen people play speed golf. Golf courses, are notorious for how uptight and how strict their rules are. But I've seen people play speed golf in real life, meaning everyone shoots at the same time. And once you've taken your shot, everyone takes their shot, and everyone just runs to their ball and just keeps going. I've seen people do that for a hole, which I'm assuming that's how this will be structured. I don't know how. I don't know how people score that in real life. I imagine that you're going to get your stroke, and then you're going to have some type of bonus structure to how quickly. You get the hole in, let's say you hit par, but you did it quicker than someone else. There's got to be a threshold where it's like, oh, you got a bogey, the other person got par, but they took longer to get par. I don't know how that's going to work, but I'll play it. Like it's Mario Golf, so yeah. The next thing we had was some Zelda news, and I was very excited, and they totally called it. It comes up there, and I just blanked on his name, and it's unfortunately the videos my screen's over his name, so I couldn't read it. But he came out. He's the director for Breath of the Wild 2, Breath of the Wild, and came out and said, "I know that as soon as you saw me, you were hoping for more Breath of the Wild 2 news, but unfortunately, I don't have that. Stay tuned. Later this year, we'll have more news," which really disappointed me because I was really hoping that they would give us some news today to then lead into it's coming out in holiday, which it still could. They could talk about it in the fall and then launch in holiday. So that being said, here we have the Skyward Sword remaster. This, as they mentioned here, this is the last Zelda game before Breath of the Wild, and it's a great game that I feel like not as many people played. I'm gonna say something that's gonna anger some people. I liked this better than Twilight Princess. When I played it. I need to go revisit Twilight Princess because I've heard the story is great. It just wasn't clicking for me. This was more the tone that I wanted for Zelda. That being said, as I mentioned earlier on, like I play horror games, I play some dark stuff, but Zelda, I want this adventure, I want this lighthearted adventure, and that's Skyward Sword gave that to me, and I really enjoyed it. Other bit that came in, which unfortunately it's not queuing up here, so I'm just going to we're going to do it live. The other bit that we got was there's an expansion, a season pass expansion for Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, which I have purchased and I've not played. So because I've purchased it and I've not played it, for those of you who watch the show, you know what I'm going to say. That is going on my list for my backlog. So I'll be playing that later this year to dive more into my backlog and to dive into games that I've purchased and I just haven't played them. So that's what our backlog's all about. We're doing that every single month. By the way, we're playing a game that we have purchased but we have not actually played. So one of mine won't be this month. It'll be in a couple months. One of mine will be Age of Calamity, Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity. Because I love Breath of the Wild. I love Legend of Zelda. I've not played a lot of the Dynasty Warriors stuff. I get it. I've played the demo. And like I said, I get it. Hyrule Warriors, it should work for me, but it hasn't hooked me to keep playing it. And I hope it will. I hope it will when I do play it later this year. We'll see how I feel about it. I still want more Breath of the Wild. I want more Zelda. I want more of the core Zelda, and at least with this with them saying, okay, well, we got to re-release, the remaster of Skyward Sword. Okay, that's enough to hold me over a little bit. I'd rather play that than play that Star Wars game. And I love Star Wars, but the Star Wars game, it's just like, at least Zelda sticks to the good stuff. At least Zelda sticks to the stuff that we know is going to be good, we know is going to work. At least hopefully all of it's going to work, and hopefully we enjoy it. Skyward Sword is a great game, though, so if you haven't played it, go check that out. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to The LandCave. We are live every single Wednesday on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Usually it's a little bit more lively. I'm just exhausted and I'm soloing. Usually there's two of us here, and we can offload a little bit of the banter. But I hope you had fun this week. I hope you're staying safe.